Hey guys, Mike Bland, Private Investigator here. Wanted to continue on this series of videos I'm making here for you guys. We just recently covered background check services. I wanted to talk more about background investigations and how that compares to that basic background check. When someone needs, way more in-depth research, investigating, stuff like help with ancestry DNA services that they started out with originally, trying to find, lost army buddies, old friends, flames, siblings, adoption investigations, whatever. We have done all these things, and we have actually even reunited entire families, which, is a pretty amazing feeling at the end of that investigation. I've literally started out on these where people had paid their $60 and did ancestry DNA, came to me with a list of names. They didn't know how to research or find these actual people or get in contact with them, and had then hired us, and I was able to take the storyline they gave me, the information they developed and leads, and then connect the dots as a professional investigator and make sense of this. And it's one of those things where when you've been doing this for 25 years, it's hard to explain to people, but because a lot of it is experience and your brain just getting wired to understand the little things to look for that most people just don't understand. And when it's all coincidence, when you have something good to go on, and then when you know for sure, and those are things that you just develop that ability to be able to do over a very long career of investigating. And sometimes this stuff takes hours, weeks, months to figure out. Sometimes even when you figure all this stuff out, then the burden comes down to trying to actually make contact with some of these people, and making a phone call like that as a private investigator and calling someone that has no idea they have other family out there by some marriage or whatever that they've never heard, they never knew existed, and then trying to identify yourself and tell them this crazy story that someone hired you and that they had started this out from an ancestry DNA thing and trying to explain to them they have these family members that want to get in contact with them, and is that okay? Can be a very crazy phone call. So I have done it numerous times successfully, and again, there's been very positive stories about that, but it can take a lot of work, and it can also be very expensive once a private investigator like ourselves gets involved. And some people like to see that through and find out what all's going out there. And they're on the flip side, like with adoption investigations where those records are sealed and there's nothing to go on, that can be very crazy and difficult. Can also become very time consuming and expensive as well. I had one last year where a gentleman was able to find his, I think, real father's grave. And first time I had one quite like that, but he gave me the name, where the gentleman was buried at, and everything else. And we had actually found out in that case, not to mention names, dates, times, any personal things about that story, but that gentleman's father, I think, had actually been incarcerated years ago and at a very young age. So now you're already talking the hopes of even gathering these public records. We're talking back from the 70s, and then we're talking through the prison system, which, as we all know, is not exactly these even present day police departments. I learned retiring as a cop many times can't even find stuff like official police reports, which is ridiculous. So unfortunately, a record on some guy that was in prison, in 1975, people just don't look at it as a thing that's very important, as sad as that is. So I had to try to contact the state, I had to try to contact the prison, and talk to their records department, talk to, Department of Vital Statistics, and contact all these official agencies. And then again, tell them who I was, what I was trying to do, what I was trying to accomplish, and I was trying to get any records that were available that would be helpful for my client, and finding out who his father was, what kind of life he lived, and what happened to him. And so, the stories, the stuff you see and you find out are crazy doing this job, but it is interesting. Every case, just like police work, is totally different, and stuff like this too is very good practice for someone looking to be an investigator, something like a background investigation, because it's something you can really chew into and dig into and learn how to decipher what from what information-wise. So, and we've had calls where people needed to look more into someone they were getting ready to marry as well, like a premarital type, screening or background investigation, and find out this person's real character, what they're really all about. Or maybe a girl getting ready to date a guy she met online, or they went on a few dates, and something now doesn't seem quite right. Maybe this guy, she's thinking he's married or something like that. And then some things can then start to break off into where you need surveillance. So which then gets into the surveillance video topic I will also cover. So these things all connect at some point, but sometimes, sure, we're hired for just one specific service. So background investigation services, again, are something that it's going to be where it's way more in-depth than just running some generated law enforcement grade database check for somebody, and then spitting that information out, emailing that to them. This is going to be something where people need more answers, and it means you have to connect more dots, which means you have to invest more time into this as an investigator. We do, flat rates on all of our services. We, after doing this for 25 years, have a very good idea of what something is going to, take us on working on something. And sometimes, it is business too on the other side. Sometimes we come out ahead, and sometimes we go on the hole. But what we've been able to do is take all the stats from all of our cases over the years and jobs and costs and create this flat rate system where it's actually easier for clients in the long run. We don't do the traditional retainer system and then suck you in and then keep charging you every day. That is not the way we run our business. And we also, again, always like to reinforce that the business model is all around informing you and helping you out and telling you how things work and being honest. And if it sounds like a case that is not possible or there's no way to solve or nothing to go on, then we're not going to do like a lot of firms and tell you we're going to take the case, we're going to solve it and take thousands of dollars from you. We're going to let you know up front that you may need to contact us back, or we need a little bit more to go on. If it's something the client still is insistent on, that we go for it and try it then, and they want us to really try to figure this out, then we will take the case. But we are always very insistent on, we've had cases in the past where we've literally told clients, we don't feel comfortable taking this case based on the way you've presented it and the facts involved or the lack of facts. And we've literally, begged them not to send us their money and try to hire us for this. And they insisted, and it's something they just had to do. And in that case, then obviously we're here to do business, and we are here to help people and get answers. And we're very competent doing that. So we did take the case for those people. But again, if you guys have any questions or comments, concerns, my name is Mike Bland. I've been investigating my entire life. I'm certain I can help you out. Thanks, guys.